Holla ballers, what's going on? It's Preacher, and I'm finally able to bring you some Shadow Priest action, as you probably watched the video from yesterday. Yeah, that was a thing. That happened. What are you going to do? But I found that I needed to get a couple of things from these early dungeons anyway, so it wasn't a big deal to come back here and rock and roll inside the Terrace on the Spring once again, which is where I ended up on my Hunter. Kind of shows how many dungeons I do before I feel I can actually make a reasonable contribution to a good conversation. The Shadow... in the Shadow Priest, concerning the video that I actually made where I was like, look, you know what? I'm looking for a new raid class. I really, really want one. What about the Priest? What about the Priest, right? That was the big discussion that I had. And I was like, you know what? I can't do the Priest. For a number of reasons. And that is because Shadow's just got this problem at the minute that Blizzard seems more than fine that they do mediocre DPS when it comes to single target. And that really pisses me off. Because I don't want that burden. I don't want to be that burden to the raid. I don't want to feel like I'm being brought for something other than my normal contribution. My normal contribution to any raid should be the fact that I'm doing the damage of everybody else, right? That should be the reason that I'm being brought to the raid. Ooh, slightly inside there. Almost. So when it comes to, yeah, you know, you do good DPS, that's not looking good for any reasonable guild. Because a reasonable guild doesn't want to hear good DPS. They want to hear at least as good as everybody else. Oh, come on. And if you're not up to snuff, then you're not going to get picked. If a certain fight needs really good DPS, guess who's the first to get benched? The guy who does pretty average DPS on his best day. And that is no fault of my own. But I keep coming back to it. I can't help but come back to it. I really can't help but come back to it. It's that bug. It's like that old blanket. And no matter how often you know that thing stinks and it's rotten and you hate it and you don't want to ever be a part of it. Oh, it's so good. Have a renew, buddy. Have an awful, awful renew. Pop a fade. I've been pulling aggro a lot in these dungeons, by the way. Really badly on the first boss. Oh my god, is a Shadow Priest pulling aggro? That's goofy. That's really goofy, but that's the situation I'm in. So why did I come back to it? Because I've not had more fun on a range class, I think. Maybe the Balance Druid. Maybe. But the Balance Druid is way, 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 way out of there. The Balance Druid is just not happening. No way, no how is the Balance Druid happening. And the Priest was also of that opinion for me. Till I started playing it again. And I played a little bit of Holy the other day. And it was good. And it was fun. I have a Mind Spike. The thing is, it has so much going for it that it's hard to ignore. Right? It has so much goddamn good stuff going for it that it's so difficult to just blatantly say no to it. So let's talk about that, especially in comparison to the Hunter, because I made all the points about the Hunter that, you know what, ranged maybe isn't for me. I kind of feel safe. I kind of feel like I'm just getting on with things as a range class. That's a nice halo. Yeah, that was a sweet halo actually. I really like that. Don't forget my Mind Blast. You can have a Vampiric Touch. So can you. I'm going to assume you may live. Oh, can I sneak in a death? This is what I'm talking about. What I'm doing right here is I'm just looking for opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. Have a renew. With the Shadow Priest. Because although it's ranged, although it follows those same criteria, you see the aggro, you know it's going to happen, man. You can feel it so much. I want to hold on with my Shadow Fiend until the next phase, ideally. Ideally I want to hold on, but we'll see. We got a full, yeah, we got a full Vampiric Touch there, which is nice. Not quite going to sneak a sneaker. No. No, not going to happen. That's a Halo opportunity, though, if I've ever seen one. Beautiful. Oh, overpowered Will of the Forsaken. Don't you love it when it actually comes in handy, that Will of the Forsaken? So good. Master Spell. Master Spell. I have no mana for it. OMG. Ah, did not manage to get the Master Spell off. Oh well, you still got Earth Shield. I should still do it anyway, just for the sake of everybody. Yeah, I got rid of the Earth Shield. I'm helping! I'm helping! Don't tell me I'm not helping. Don't tell me that. I'm helping. But this is what I'm talking about. All these things are so good. I can survive a few more Dress Shadows here. Because I'm not like as the Hunter where I'm just focused on my DPS. I am never like that on my Priest. Because I have so much to offer the raid. So much to offer the raid that it's actually ridiculous. And every single time I'm playing this class, I'm not just DPSing. I'm looking for opportunities. Where can I Vampiric Embrace? Do I need to drop a Leap of Faith somewhere? I could be called upon at any moment. At any moment to void shift somebody. Something could go horribly wrong and you know what? I'm the class you want there. And I'm also the player you want there when that thing goes bad. When that thing goes bad. A lot of you remember the kind of... well, I would say a lot of you, but probably not. Is I showed you our Ragnaros 25 heroic kill. It was server first, and it was a very, very, very top world kill. And I showed that in the farm content of that, even though I was playing a DK and I was rocking the DPS and all that kind of stuff, is I was actually there and just waiting for the opportunity to drop a taunt. Things like that really drive my engine, man. They fucking put the foot on the gas every single time. Save that Halo to after Insanity's finished. See if we can drop in another Insanity there. Not bad, not bad. That'll do, pig. Gotta keep this Vampiric Touch going. Always running green because I'm always doing so much extra shit. Sealog defeated. Boom! Get down. Every single time I rock the Shadow Priest, I am not just a DPSer. I never feel like I'm just a DPSer on any occasion because of all the extra tools I bring there. They might not always be needed. They might not always be needed. They might not always be called for. They might not always be wanted. But you know what? They always seem to come in handy at the most bizarre of times. This tank is fucking nuts, by the way. I was blaming the DPS, so I didn't just got himself killed. Oh, no! There's that emergency voice shift. You're not letting me drink, are you? Motherfucker. Well played, son. Got them all to disperse. That's awesome. It's so different because... as much as many people who play a range class will say, yeah, I get... most people actually responded quite well to that. Yeah, I get what you're saying. It is kind of safe as a hunter because you're just looking after yourself. You're a one-man army. And as such, you don't do much to assist the raid unless you get that specific job. And you'll recall it was in this instance specifically is that I said, you know what? What I really, really, really want is to have things like the Shah of Fear. Yeah, Shah of Fear. All the time, where I have some sort of opportunity, where I'm picking up globes or I'm helping the raid in some fashion, doing something which contributes that much more to the progress of my guild, while also giving me as a player much more to do. Because traditionally, I am never, ever the player who's happy to rest on his laurels whatsoever. I don't want to be the guy who just chills the fuck out and doesn't do anything. I should really be interrupting a little bit more here, but what are you going to do? And... that's what inspires me as a player. I need that sort of interactivity. I need that opportunity to exist. The fact that I might not need it, like I said, I might not need it to happen. But the fact that the opportunity might exist is more than enough for me to be excited when I play this class. When I log in, I'm looking around all the time. I barely give a shit about my buttons. Most of the time, I don't give a shit about my buttons. If you give me a class that'll straight up DPS, or a fight where I know that I don't need to do anything more, that's actually cool in my book because that differs from nearly 99% of the rest of the encounters. That's completely different. It'd be really nice if you guys could struggle on these just a little bit more so I could get 3 Shadow Orbs. Kill him in boss. Here. Yeah, buddy. Do that. Kill him in boss. Oh, cool. Got my 3 Shadow Orbs. Can I get the opportunity to have a sneaky little drink just to make sure my mana's all kosher? I tend to throw out a little few prayer of mendings and stuff, and that's why this class is so good. I get to throw out a little prayer of mendings, a little bit here and there, just contributing just that little bit more. Just that little bit more. No big deal. I'm certainly not 100% proficient on the class, which is great. And Blizzard actually said, you know, when the stars align, Shadow Priests are fine. There's the problem, isn't it? I don't want to be fine. I don't want my best day to be a rarity, and I certainly don't want my average day to mean I'm bottom of the DPS on any occasion. I don't want that. Who the hell wants that? Nobody, as far as I'm concerned. Nobody wants that at all. So why are you forcing that? Why are you saying that's okay, Blizz? God, just tell me this is going to be okay in Warlords of Draenor. I don't even mind occasionally switching to healer as long as I'm a Shadow Priest. That's what I do. A lot of people fall into the trap when they roll these, is their guild suddenly lacks healers for some fucking reason. And then you end up being the guy who's like, oh, well, I'll heal. I tell you, I'm okay with being the guy who never says that. I've learned enough in this game to be the guy who never says, yeah, I can do that. No problem. I'm fine with just sitting quiet. It's like, well, and then people go, Preacher, can you heal? I'm like, nah. Nah, and you know what? That's not a dick thing to do, especially if there's other people there who are more than capable of doing it as well. Which one are we going for? That one. Oh, that marking, though. Fucking get on your case, son. Was that you, Muckles? Have a gold star. You fucked up earlier, but that was glorious marking. I'll buy that for $1. What a fucking guy. Tell you what, I've changed my opinion of Muckles. Something dramatic. And Shadow of Death for the boss. Boom, boom, boom. Get precasting that Vampiric. Yeah, buddy. And straight into it, although he's probably bound to disappear in a minute. Bound to get hide. This is great. I'm never really looking at the boss. I'm just taking things in, and I'm always active. One of my biggest problems is, which is why this hunt for a raid class is so difficult, is that I just need something to be stimulating me in a raid, because if the class is relatively simple to play, or I find it relatively simple to play. Have we seen it yet? Is it over there? My vampiric embrace says no. My mindseer says no. Is it there? Nope. There? Anybody? Yeah, there it is. If that happens, then I am absolutely going to drift. The easier the class is and the less it has to do is I'm going to drift. And I start making mistakes. And people find that very different. Some people like it very easy or very relaxed so they can focus more on their game. That is just not how I play whatsoever. I need stuff to be happening all the time. This is why I was such a good tank and why I kind of, you know, I have to debate the idea of being a tank again. I assume it's this one. I'm going to drop a fade just in case. Yes, it is. Oh, what guess? What guesswork by the Preacher. Always go with the closest one to the melee, because the melee are going to decide which one you kill. Ranged, you might think you are the god mode, but believe me, when it comes to deciding what's going to die, it's range day. It's melee day. The melee will decide every single fucking day of the week what's going to die and what isn't. As I was saying, I really need that kind of interaction from my classes if I'm going to play them properly. Because if it's too simple or there's just not enough going on, I drift. I'll start watching TV, I'll start making mistakes. My DPS will in fact go down on a class that is easier to do damage with. Something I have found out very early on is if I'm very relaxed in a raid, I'm going to do way, way less damage. Way, way less damage. To the point of absurdity almost of how bad my damage can be. And some of the mistakes I make while I'm actually raiding. I'll do a farm boss to perfection time after time after time. But if I come in an alt or something where I'm just kind of not that interested, or it's one of those classes that, yeah, you know, I thought I'd give this a try. I actually found it very often with a paladin tank. Very, very often. Ooh, this could be any number of 2. In fact, it's probably that one. There it is. On a paladin tank, especially during Kata when I was tanking for the groups, I haven't put Shadow of Pain on. Lol. Still got an insanity off though. Get on my level. It was amazing how many mistakes I'd make compared to playing on my tank, on my warrior tank, where I was so much more involved in the fight. And that was purely down to the idea that I just didn't have the same interest. It was the 6-9-6-9 rotation, for those of you who remember it, will be fondly aware of the 6-9-6-9 rotation. Is as soon as that went down, God, I was just fucking done. I was done. I didn't want to play anymore. I started making mistakes I would never make in my entire goddamn life on my warrior. But then again, he switched over to a class that's kind of less interesting, where your fingers are doing all the work without you having to do too much. And there you go, you run into that problem. Regarding switching to heal, like I said, I'm okay with doing it on occasion. If a guild should require it, I think it's justified. What I don't stand for in most guilds, especially ones that I've ran, is when I ask someone to do a task that isn't their role, and it's, you know, it's 3 weeks down the line and they're still doing it. It's not even too bad for specific encounters. If we look at a fight like Nefarian Heroic, or other fights, which some of you guys, which Mr. Pandaria will be au fait with, I think Shah of the Queen, the Grand Empress. Whoa, fade. Woo, clutch fade, clutch fade. Clutch fade indeed. Then you'll know that those fights demanded, especially in the early days, ridiculous levels of healers. Really crazy amounts of healers. And that created a lot of problems because there weren't that many healers. Oh, come on. There weren't that many healers in the guild. So, the Shadow Priests or whatever, they were switching over to heal on a lot of occasions. Can we see it? Is it there? I like it when someone just runs in a circle. There it is. Wait, you're running away from it, bro. You're fucking up my mindset. God damn it, man. Don't do that. Yeah, very much of the opinion that when that happens is that's not the guild for me. The guild should be working hard to make sure I play the role that I joined you for. And specific fights that demand you to play a certain way, yeah, I can get on board with that. I understand that that happens, and you know, I've played enough to know that sometimes a fight demands X amount of healers, and no doubt at some point that will be fixed. And I don't expect a guild to ever recruit sort of 13 healers just for one particular fight. Not that some guilds won't, but it's not what I would expect to happen. And as such, I'm perfectly fine with them not doing that. and me picking up the slack on those occasions. But if it came down to the other scenario, which is just constantly, they're not bothering to recruit the guy, or they're recruiting trash, or there's just no opportunity to get another guy in, then that's when the downfall comes for me. But for right now, this is my top pick, because I'm watching Blizzard with bated breath. I'm watching them so closely right now. Just please, please tell me it's going to be okay. Let me get on the beta and see what's happening. What changes? How have the new 100 talents worked out? Don't tell me that on my best day, I'm average. And on a normal day, I'm at the bottom. That's all I want. That's my thoughts on the Shadow Priest, guys. I'm having a blast playing it as well. Always have through Mists of Pandaria. Always did through Kata. What a fucking glorious, glorious spec. Take it easy, guys. Bye.